Today we're going to be talking with you all about live stream. That's right, coach. How can you use live stream video to grow your profits and your impact? That's all coming up next. Welcome to the LVTV podcast, where we talk all things content, clients, and cash flow for the profit and impact focused coaches and consultants. And we have a very special guest, and I know I say that every episode, but they are special people and they are guests here to the podcast. Kirk, what up, though?
What up? What's good, man?
What's good, bro? I'm so excited to have you here because I was sharing with you briefly, man. I've been watching from a distance, right? Always trying to peek over the fence and see what's going on, and you have been consistent. Right. You have been diligent and you give value, and here's what I like about you. And I didn't share this, but I feel as a viewer that you are who you are on camera, off camera. That's one.
Oh yeah.
And then two, you care about the viewer.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I know we're going to dive into some stuff here, but that's what it's all about. I often say to folks, man, you cannot fake a genuine concern for other people's success. And that is a key ingredient to being successful in the online space. If you want to do any kind of content creation, you want to grow or, an audience, whatever, you've got to have a genuine concern and passion for seeing other people win. And if that's not something that's a part of your DNA, it will come out. People will see that. So I appreciate you saying that, man, because that is something that is definitely part and parcel of who I am. So, and I'm excited to be on this platform. I told you the first time I saw you in the comments, I was like, man, I got to change my name, man. Your boy LV. I was like, this joint is so fire, man. So, man, it's amazing.
I was in radio, and when I first started out in radio, I never wanted to be on the air, but they made me do a broadcast, and I came back to the station, and I'm like, all right, what's up? And it's like, you ever thought about being on the mic? I'm like, nah, man, I want to be behind the scenes. So long story short, was on the microphone, was on air, and my mentor at that time was like, we're going to call you LV. And I was like, well, I want people to know that I'm their friend, I'm your homie, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? There's no distance between me and you. We from the same, locally, we're in the same city. So that's where the whole name came from, your boy LV. And I've just been running with it for over 10 years now. So
that's good, man.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good.
Sticking to the script, man. Sticking to the script. So let's talk about your script, right? So I always ask people because, when you do podcast interviews, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Nobody really cares, right? But I think what people do care. No, I'm just, like, okay, whatever. But the moment I think that we want to zero in on is, when was the moment where the light bulb came off for you, like live video? Because I know you did some things prior to focusing solely on live video. I know I saw some content of yours dealing with like church media and some other things. But when did the light bulb say, you know what, I'm going to go hard on this live video tip? What was going on?
Man, as you said earlier, we all have coaches. We got people that we look up to, people who see in us things that we have yet to recognize in ourselves, and it was just one of those things. I'm an IT professional by trade and training, so kind of got into management as well. So got a chance to lead some teams and stuff. And every time I would lead a team, they would put along with it media. They would. It's like, okay, you're in charge of IT, you're the CTO, you're the CIO, but we want you to also manage this media department, who's supposed to put out content, who's supposed to do this TV station, who's supposed to do this. And so wanting to understand how to lead my team best, I had to dive into the guts of understanding media and broadcast and production. And so that's where a lot of that background stuff came from. And I use all of that, of course, in my faith-based space at church and several other instances as well. So when I was stepping out of, formal employment, CTO at Wallace State Community College here in Huntsville, one of the things I decided to do was like really look into content creation. And the idea around content creation was to kind of create this space, tech, media, and leadership, because those are the three things that are signature Kirk, like tech, media, leadership. Yeah. And this is what happens, as I take people through the process of figuring out, well, what is your thing? What is the question that you can uniquely answer? I always tell them to narrow it down to 3 and then get moving, right? Yeah. The whole point is to start unsure. And so I did exactly that. Took my own poison, right? Tech, media, leadership. Those are 3 very different areas. Yeah. But I decided, okay, I'm going to launch out at this, and I'm going to start a show based on these 3 things, and I'm going to see where the open doors are, right? You got to walk uncertain, but you got to be cognizant of the doors that are opening naturally, organically around you. And what happened for me is exactly the answer to your question. The media / live video pieces where all the doors were open. Yes, the leadership thing was there. Yes, everybody kind of knew me as the tech guy. That's why the name Geek Speaker Preacher is kind of a thing. But the live video piece, that's where folks were hunting me down. Kirk, I need you to do my show. Kirk, can you do this? Kirk, we want you to do this event. We got this virtual conference. And especially during the pandemic, it got to a fever pitch. I mean,
I can only imagine.
I mean, it was crazy. And people were like, man, you stepped out at the right time because this is your thing and you really know this stuff. And so I say that to you to say some of the things that I teach folks in my coaching, I actually have lived it, right? And I feel like that is the recipe for success for anybody, because your experiences give credibility to what you're sharing with people, right? If you haven't experienced it, how can you tell me what to do, right? You haven't walked this walk, so how can you tell me that this is the way I should do it, right? So I took my own poison, walked that process, and then began to narrow it down. And as I narrowed it down, I said, okay, well, maybe I'll just do virtual conferences. And I was like, I started to whittle it down a little more, and I really kind of landed on live video. And I really do believe, I'm a huge proponent of the idea, the concept that live video is at the top of the content creation pyramid, and live video is the best way for somebody to experience your greatness, whatever that greatness might be.
Oh, man, so we got to dig in there. Hold on. Why do you think it's at the top? Now, I feel like I agree, but part of me say, hold up, wait up. You know, so why would you put it at the pinnacle of content creation?
Everything else falls from it. I mean, I'm going to give it to you. I'll say it to you this way. You record a live video. You could take the finished product, the finished, video itself. First of all, it's part of my approach towards live video. So if you've done any kind of video editing, you have a linear video editor. All of them are like this: Adobe Premiere, Final Cut. You go down the line, they're linear. You drop them on the timeline, and one clip plays into the other. You can kind of stack them if you want as well, but they're linear. When you are managing a live show, it's linear. They're clips. Even though they're live, they're clips. So you have your little bug at the beginning, you have your little host intro, you have your little music that plays, you bring on your guest, you have a discussion, you might have a question or two, you drop a little intro or advertisement in there. You get what I'm saying? You're editing a video. You're editing a video. Yeah.
And
so now because your live stream is literally you editing a video. When you are done, you have a product. Now you have this product that has been curated for consumption. So what that means is social proof is baked in. What do I mean by social proof? It already has 100 views.
Yeah.
You see, so I'm not posting a static video that's got 0 views and I'm asking people to watch it. No, I've got a video that already has social proof baked in. It's got comments, it's got engagement, it's got views already. And so people are like, I want to watch this because other people already watched it. So that's the top part. Now we come down a level. Okay, so we strip out the audio from that live video, and now we have our podcast. I'm going to go quickly. You strip out a clips from that audio that you made the podcast with, and you have audiograms. You kick out video clips from your live stream, and now you have reels and stories and social media posts. You take out you strip out the what's the term? You drop it in a what's the term where you bring out when you bring out the script, when you bring out the words.
Transcription.
All right, so you transcribe the video. Now you have your blog post. Your blog post, you take quotes from the blog post to make memes to post on social media as well. All of that comes off of your live video. So the live video sits at that top. You do that thing right. If you do that thing right, I'm a carpenter's son, so we believe in measuring twice and cutting once. So if you do that thing right, then everything else drops off of it, and you don't have to do a whole lot of work. You can cut it up, do your bite-sized pieces, send it out there, give people the taste test of the short form content that throws to the long form content, and you're good to go.
Listen, he just gave y'all a whole play. Like he literally just gave y'all the entire, gamut of it all. So I almost feel like that's the podcast, that's the episode, right?
Listen, man. I'll say this just to tack on. There's, at the end of the day, we all have to post.
Right.
And when you do a live show that has meaningful moments in it, then you're not just posting just for the sake of posting. You're actually sharing something that's going to have impact. And it is going to have impact because it already had impact either on yourself, on your guest, or the live audience that viewed it when you recorded it. So it's a foolproof scheme. That's why I believe in live video strategy, live video marketing, not just to grow and engage an audience, but also to funnel clients to your business. And then lastly, to establish yourself as a thought leader. I mean, if you're a coach, this is what you need to be all about.
Man, I love it. So what mistakes do you see people make with live stream video?
The number one mistake is that people take too long to get going. They feel like they have that. I mean, I can't tell you. I had to let a coaching client go because we've been at this for 6 months. You've spent, upwards of $5,000 on equipment, but we haven't gone live once. I had to let them go. So the problem is, for a number of us, we have this checklist in our head of what needs to happen before we can start going live. And here's the thing. The best thing about having a live show is that you have shows to look back at, to tweak and make the next one better. But if you never go live, you have nothing to tweak. And so I always, if somebody says, hey, what do I need to get started? Whatever you have in your house. Now, we're not going to preach, but
right. Yeah. What you got in your hand?
In your hand. What's in your hand, right? What's in your hand? And I mean that literally. Your phone is what's in your hand. And if you have a phone, you probably have a better webcam than anything that's out there on the market right now, unless you're going to graduate to the DSLR or mirrorless space. So you can set up your phone as a webcam and you can get going. Don't tell me you can't get started. I know folks who started their podcasts in the backseat of their car, recording that bad boy on their phone because they got good acoustics. There are those who will make the excuse to not get started, and then there are those who will figure out a way over all hurdles, against all odds, to get it done.
Yeah.
And it's the people who want to get it done that I want to work with. And so if you ask me, that's the number one mistake, is like, oh, there's this list of things I need to do in order to get started. No, you need to get started and then whittle your list.
Yeah. I like that. I like
started.
that. Yeah. Throw that bait in the water and catch one. Just catch one view, right?
One.
Just catch
My
one
goodness,
view.
get one person out there and treat them like a king, and I guarantee you the rest will come.
Yeah, I love it. So outside of just waiting to start, what other mistakes are you seeing people make with live video?
So the mistake, or so first of all, number one, you won't always want to make sure you have a call to action. What is the purpose of your show? What do you want people to know? Is there something specific about you want them to know? Do you want them to walk away saying, okay, your boy LV, that's a thought leader in this particular space? If you want them to know that, make sure that there's a CTA for that. So don't just assume that it's going to happen. Whatever it is you have said as your intention for your show, you need to make sure that is explicitly stated in the show itself. That's one thing. Second thing, don't look at your numbers, your viewer numbers, as a metric for success, because in your viewer numbers, there could be one person that represents 20,000 people.
Yes.
All right. So impact, it has to be at least for me, and that's one of the things I teach, is that impact has to be your metric for success. I did a live stream on Amazon Live last month. Had 8 people watching. One of those 8 people was Jeff Bezos. You see what I'm saying? So one person was, so somebody could say, man, Kirk, why are you still live? You got 8 people watching you. One of those people was Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos said to me in the comments, he says, hey, Kirk, you're doing a great job. Please say hi to CNN. I'm in a meeting. So I just waved to the camera and said, hi, CNN. You understand what I'm trying to say? It's absolutely bananas. And this is the beauty and the relevance and the impact and the unique opportunity we have with live video. So don't look at those numbers and say, man, I don't even know why I'm doing this. You've got to be able to deliver as if 3,000 people were there, or if 2 people were there, because in those two numbers that you see on the screen could be 50,000 people represented. So I always say to people who are getting started, don't be Don't be beat up by low numbers. You never can tell what that impact looks like.
You never know. And I always say that from a follower count, because folks know I love the gram. And, if you have Oprah Winfrey, Barack Obama, and Jeff Bezos as your 3 followers compared
to
the 20,000, 50,000 followers that people have that may be fake.
Come on.
Or bought, that's not the route to go. You definitely want to. And then what I've come to in our space of being coaches and consultants, and we're trying to monetize, those 8 viewers may be enough to get you at $5K a piece with Jeff Bezos. Let's say 7. That's $35K.
Right.
Every viewer could be a client if you market it right, if your messaging is on point to really speak to your ideal client and not just your ideal viewer. So you never know. Jeff Bezos might reach out to you, bruh, like, yo, can you teach me the platform?
Listen, let me double click on that little bit, man. Let's just dive a slight bit deeper.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, a lot of people, this is a huge mistake. I said it earlier, but they don't know what they want to achieve with said platform, podcast, live show, web show, video. I don't know. They don't have the end goal in mind, and you want to start with the end so you can reverse engineer.
Yes.
So you can work backwards. If your goal is to have the millions of subscribers, then what does that look like? What does that process look like from where you are currently to where you want to be? If the goal is to have impact, like what we've been talking about, then you reverse engineer it differently. Or if you're like me, it's like, look, I have a business. I produce shows for clients. I want more clients. So I have my live show to show people that I can do this. You see, that proof is baked in. I show people that this is what I can do when left up to my own thing. That was another whole side note where it's like I would produce these shows for clients, but they wanted to have creative control. When I started doing my live shows for myself, and people saw what I did when no one was prompting me, no one was saying, no, don't do it that way. They were like, Kirk, we just want you to have freedom. Yeah. Clients would come and say, season 2, episode 6, what you did right there, I want something like that. I don't want to box you in, Kirk. We know you're you see what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah.
So a different kind of client began coming my way because I was reverse engineering. I knew that was one of the reasons why I had my live show the way that I had it. So, yeah, man. I listen, I'm a talker. You got
No, I love it. Listen, I'm just the one who asks the questions, and the conversation is the superstar. So who's ever talking, the conversation wins, right? So
I love it.
And then and this podcast is definitely not about me. I just love to ask questions. And I like to ask people who I feel like can answer them and bring some type of value for those who are looking for those type of answers. So I definitely appreciate it. I'm not going to hold you too much longer because you gave out. And if you're listening or watching, whichever one, like, he's giving you guys the play. The part of it that he may not have gone to because thinking that you already have it is making sure your messaging is right. So, Kurt, here's one of my like, if you want to overcook my grits, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really, like, I despise people who are on social media telling folks how to do tactics in business in order to get a bag, right? But never tell them your messaging is 80% of what you're going to do. The 20 is what you're on YouTube for. Come on. Right? So if you don't know how to craft it, you can listen to this podcast all day and do it and be miserable because not only are you not getting impact, you're not going to get the views, you're not going to feel fulfilled if you don't know who you are talking to and how to talk their language.
Let me tell you something, man. You hit the nail on the head there. Let me drop one last thing, and then
please do.
We'll close this thing. I will say I totally agree with you. One of the things I tell clients when we're talking about setting up their studio, I'm telling them, look, this is not a place where you want to invest all your time, effort, energy, because all this is doing is stopping the scroll. So your camera quality, your lights, all of that is just to stop the scroll. Content is what's going to keep them. So put your effort and energy there. And for your content, here are the 3 things that I live by. Anybody that's ever heard me speak, you know that these 3 things are coming. Number 1, you got to answer a question. That's what it's always about. If you're not answering a question, then I don't know what we're here for.
Right.
People can't search to find the question if you're not answering a question. If you're just here to generally speak so that people can hear you speak, they're not coming, because you've got to be able to answer a question. So answering a question is the first one. Be consistent is the second one. Be consistent. Be consistent in your time that you actually post your videos, or when you go live. Be consistent with the length of your duration. Be consistent with your format. Be consistent with your topic. Yeah. Don't talk about finance this week and underwater basket weaving the next week. You got to be consistent. People showed up. People subscribed. People click the button because you gave them an answer to a specific question. You want to be consistent in continuing to answer that question. And the third thing, this is the one where us in the faith communities tend to struggle, and that is to be vulnerable. You got to be vulnerable. You got to share from a place of brokenness, a place of weakness, because that place of brokenness and weakness can be the keys to your greatest triumph. When you have learned how to get over something, you now have a recipe to help somebody else.
Man,
be vulnerable. Be vulnerable. Listen, answer a question, be consistent, be vulnerable. That's my 3 things.
Yo, you know what? That somebody need to send you a collection plate. You know what I mean? Okay. And I just want to expound on, and I even want to like sauce it up on the last one. Let me throw some sauce on that.
Please do.
People resonate more with your flaws. They do. Current flaws and past flaws.
Current.
Not the ones you think you're going to have next year. Today and yesterday flaws, more than they'll ever resonate with you being popular or perfect. And I say this especially because Instagram is my jam, right? I love the IG. And I tell, especially, I've been researching a lot, paying a lot of attention to the life coach space. And it seems as if the life coach space is predominantly dominated by women. And I'm talking Black life coaches. Let me say that to even narrow it down some more. And I'm like, boo, I'm not paying you no money just because you got on a nice outfit and you know how to use your femininity in a more seductive way. I ain't saying you a thought. I'm just saying you using it in a seductive way. But it's like, that doesn't show that you are a life coach. That shows you know how to take photos. So that's my rant. That's my rant. That's my rant. I'm done. My TED Talk is over. My TED Talk is over.
This is the problem with when like mind and like spirit get together, because I'm trying my best to hold my tongue here, but I just got to say this one last thing. Somebody told me this phrase, Coach Sultant. Coach Sultant. And I resonate with that so heavily, because the consultant is about getting work done. So whenever you come to a coaching class of mine, you're going to walk away with practical next steps. Why? Because I'm a consultant at heart.
Yes.
I'm actually not a coach at heart.
Yeah.
The coaching thing came because I have a passion to see people win.
Yes.
Period, point blank, end of story. And that is the required ingredient for you to be a coach, is that you have a passion to see people win. Well, the second ingredient is that you have a coach yourself. If your coach don't got a coach, then run. But the other thing, but I'm saying to people simply, you have practical steps that you can itemize when you find the thing in your life that you were able to fix. I'm going to try and say that differently, try and say it in a better way. When you have overcome something, if you were wise enough to document that process to be able to overcome, you have now a package, you have a framework that you can share with someone else to help them realize victory as well. And that is what it's all about. And that's why Coach Sultan is so good, because yes, I want to see you win, but because I'm a consultant, here are the steps to do it. I'm not going to just talk about this thing. We're going to say, here's what you need to do. And why do I know what those things are? Because it worked for me. And that's the impact piece right there.
Man, listen. We're going to end this podcast here, because it'll be like a, what's it say, the last 7 words on the Easter service, going back and forth. Like, here you go, here you go. We'll be here all day. But I know we can definitely do a part 2 at some point in time. And I want to say thank you so much for coming on. So real quick, where can people find you? Where do we send them? They're like, okay, I like what he was saying. I've been thinking about live stream. Like, how do I get in contact with him?
Man, Kirk KirkRNugent.com. That's my headquarters on the web, KirkRNugent.com. KirkRNugent.com. That's my headquarters on the web. And subsequently, that's my handle on everything. Kirk R. Nugent on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. Kirk R. Nugent. That's where I'm at on everything. There's a really great guy named Kirk Nugent. I actually know him personally, and he is just slightly more popular than I am. So if you catch him, great guy, follow him too. But that's not me. KirkRNugent.com. Kirk R. Nugent on everything. Appreciate you guys, man. And again, LV, appreciate you for having me on. This is phenomenal. I love this space that you've created.
Thank you.
I love the topic of it. I got a chance to check out a couple of your previous podcasts. You're killing it, man.
Man, no, thank you, man. Hey, you about to make a black man blush up in here, man. I don't know what you got going on over here, but no, thank you so much for coming on, but also blessings to you. Again, if you guys are listening and you watching, make sure you subscribe, all right? You can rate and review the podcast, but here's something. If you heard one thing that you really, really enjoyed, right? Not only do I want you to go follow Kirk, do that, but I want you to share this episode with someone who you know does a live stream show or has been talking about it. Just one person, not 10, not to your social media. Send it through via text, or you can send it through DM. Just if you do me that one solid favor, I would appreciate it. This is the LVTV podcast, and I want to say thank you all for joining us and continue to be social on social media.